What's up? Another great afternoon for the virtual squatters. It's your boy Penuel, the Black Pen. Actually, I think I should go to radio, Tina. Very good afternoon to all the virtual squatters. Guys, thank you so much for all your support. I don't know what number we're on now, but I know we're almost around 10,000 subscribers. Please don't forget to subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, it's on you to then share this content so that we can get as much people as possible to come through and visit Umkuku Wetu, the virtual Mkuku. I want to give a shout out to DJ Sbu. Myself and DJ Sbu are currently dropping episodes every Monday at 12 o'clock. Myself and Umubizala, Penson, the small penis. Penuel, the black pen, and Penson, the small penis.
That's toxic.
So we're going to drop later on in the week. Hopefully, we're going to try and maybe do Friday or Thursday or whenever it makes sense. But thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. We love you. I need to give a shout out to where we are right now. We're in Sprayed View. Eguruleni, I say Forslo. Abantaba say Forslo. Konikasi, that's very, very posh. Because in Azazo Deep Kloof, but there's a very posh neighborhood called the Sprayed View. We're at VAP Dance Studio. So if you're interested in any type of dance, Pantsula, contemporary, hip-hop, please hit up VAP Studios in Sprayed View. Maos Guamakesta, where Ubabaga and Tlantla had a spot. May he rest in peace. Guamakesta is very close to Guamakesta and the BP, which is close to Ematambo, Spa, those places. Please come through. Want to give a shout out, obviously, to Upanzo, who does our camera. Want to give a shout out to Katz, who does our sound. Today he's got Cliff, who's joining us as well. And then self-proclaimed producer.
Self-proclaimed.
Gift. I've had Gift come on this platform many times, and I'm hoping that we've built a strong relationship. And in time, it's not just going to be my brother here. It's not just going to be me. Gift will be hosting, or he'll be joining me, etc. Which apparently konomshayile nomukhipha angazi uvuvukela ubuso or something. So Gift, thank you so much, and shout out to everyone who's involved in the production. Penson, the small penis.
How's my lips?
No, I don't do that stuff, man. Fuck.
Yabo? Egmuhle, guys.
Unjani uKren?
No, I'm good.
How's your week?
Good. My body's sore. So yesterday we played touch with the gents, as we usually
touch?
do. Touch.
Touch.
Mana phela uyangiharasa.
Indaba unengcengce ngaka.
Mana mfethu. Aze GP. Iyo lento le singayifuni. Iyo nina niyasiharasa nini. GPV.
We transgender indaba mabeli.
Hayibo, lona ngizokuceba ukuyeke mfethu ngithini.
Why do you have a big ngcengce? Don't your sons ever ask you, Baba, why do you have big boobs, big titties?
Shama push up nale intwana zami lezi nazo zizoba nengcengce. Shama push ups izikhali intwana. But yeah, no, so my Achilles are still popping, my hamstring. Played some touch. That was freaking amazing.
Touch rugby.
So
shout out to all the gents that play touch rugby. The rugby banter group, the serious touch rugby group.
Touch guys, yeah.
That plays around Randburg, Stanton. Randburg, Bryanston, sorry.
Yeah, we smashed them. Pause. 11-3 is all. I want to name guys, but I don't want to name guys.
Please don't name guys.
I don't want to name guys. Bayazaz.
Please name guys.
Tears.
Please name guys.
Their tears.
Name the guys.
No. I'm not going to name. Does it name the guys? No.
Okay, you can just give a shout out to the guys.
So shout out to the guys that lost your tears or nourishment. So, and shout out to us that won. So if
you're toxic male is what you are.
No, that's it. It is what it is. So if you guys are serious and want to play serious touch, hit us up. We play
the importance of touch rugby and exercise just in general.
Yeah, man, just to look after yourself, look after your health. Health is wealth, as we always say. But it's also a space where men can be men. You know, Nina Senatra look soft. Then you come into a space where you'll get to meet lions. And Mautagi will tell you to fuck off.
I almost named names. Is Ubanbani a lion?
Is Ubanbani no Banbani?
He's a lion.
No Banbani.
Are you lying? That is a lion.
So anyway, my Achilles are fucked. My hemis are fucked, but I enjoyed myself. Izolo. And the Penson on the group is also...
I've been telling you, and I think Umamsi's been telling your mom, that you need to take it easy. I know we've spoken about it before. I'm going to say it again. I know exercise is good. Health is wealth, but don't overdo it.
I overdo it. I think that's my biggest flaw. I'm addicted to training. It's not for the body. The mental is what's the problem. Because I'm addicted to going through the pain. And
you said you started yoga.
I started yoga.
Okay.
Because now you have to put yourself in certain spaces and then try and breathe. And
What spaces? Positions.
Positions. Yabona wenza
Awe Kama Sutra.
Kama Sutra.
Yini Kama Sutra?
Kama Sutra, position ye yoga. Abayazi. So kona, oh baby, no bantoki, and then you have to now
Crouching
breathe.
tiger, hidden dragon.
Now you have to breathe in those positions. And you perum chitala. Well, at least.
Bro, you're doing yoga like with people. It's not like YouTube.
No.
You've joined a yoga class.
Yeah, yoga class.
That's beautiful. And we normally think that stuff is for females, by the way.
No, it's females, man.
But you still believe so?
Nalabo puti laba aba.
Abanjani?
Laba puti laba ba.
Bazokukhanselisha unye. Nye.
Ngisho kabi.
No, but you still maintain that it's a feminine.
Yeah. Like if you go to the spaces,
Because I disagree.
I don't think yoga is meant. Is a masculine, feminine. I don't think it's
Sure.
But I think the people that go to the studios, the people that are doing yoga, mainly abantu besifazane and lamachita lawa.
Why did you start yoga?
Because I needed to open up my body. Because my body, because of the gym and rugby, started and I'm not as flexible as I'd like to be.
And yoga is good for flexibility.
Yeah, good for flexibility, for breathing, for meditation.
Sure.
So give me, it was just that to go to. I think I'm getting injured often because my body is tight and it's not as flexible as it is. And mangbona la machita lawa my jive flexi.
Sure.
Nami ngifuna ukuba flexi.
Njengamachita a.
Njengala machita la anjani machita. Niyawazi machita ngikhuluma ngawo.
Anyways, I think for a lot of people that don't know yoga, because my understanding of yoga was always that it's formalized, articulate stretching. And then to what you're saying, it's breathing. So for some people, it's like an element of meditation.
And there's different types of yoga. I also didn't know that. I thought kuti yoga nje yoga.
Sure. But
there's different types. There's this one and there's that one. There's hot yoga. You do hot yoga in Morningside where ungena into
Morningside is a neighborhood in
Penson.
Okay.
So it's a smaller studio and kuna my heater on the ceiling.
Okay. Intentionally so.
Intentionally. Yeah, we angena kule mpahla guys. Oops. You just sweat. You haven't even started anything. You start sweating.
Like a sauna.
It's 100% like a sauna.
Yeah.
But now you guys are stretching and you guys are getting in those positions and you have to breathe.
That's nice.
It's hard.
I can imagine.
It's very hard. And I think that's why sometimes in yoga, because you want to do what is easy instead of doing what is hard. So it becomes one of those things.
I think I'd like to recommend, I'm sure he would as well, all men in particular, don't necessarily join a yoga group, but just go online and look up yoga. Just see what it actually entails. Because I know for a lot of us, abantu abazi, without realizing it, we're always tense. Stresswa ingane zakho, stresswa imali, stresswa osisi, of course. If you're always sitting in traffic, work very much so. Even as a Spanish, a lot of people, they sit in front of a laptop and they don't realize what they're building tension. And places like yoga teach you breathing techniques. They teach you things like someone almost has to tell you, Baba, Tambisubuso. Why are you frowning? Like, loosen your frown lines.
I've done this thing where, like, probably once every hour or two, I stop, close my eyes, and I take 6 deep breaths.
Sure.
And I focus in on the breath. And I know it sounds dumb, I get it. But to give me, you start realizing later you show your jaw is clenched. You're going to tight.
During that time.
It's just 6 deep breaths. And it's actually that self. Okay, all right, sure. Then you go fuck shut up. And it happens if you are in a boxing ring, if you are playing rugby. Just 6 deep breaths. Where am I? Be present. Azi.
Shout out to Brian Nkosi, who we used to know as Lapis. I think he's changed his name now.
Yeah.
Ubongezinhle Nkosi, who's the uncle of 2 of my kids. He's converted to Islam. And I know I've sat with Dr. Sizwe Mpofu Walsh. He converted to Islam for his wife. His wife is Muslim, and she said, if you want to marry me, if you want to date me, you have to become a Muslim. Something that a lot of Otaki would be like, So he converted to Islam. But I'm sending a shout out to Brian Nkosi in particular because he spoke about the importance of praying 5 times a day as a Muslim. And he was saying a Christian arguably will pray only on Sunday. It will take you 5 weeks to pray as much as a Muslim does in one day. And again, I'm only raising this because if especially black not only black, if Christians, let's put it that way, if Christians and other religious groups were to pray 5 times a day, that would be the best time for you to do things like breathing exercises, calming your body, switching everything off. Was it for just 5-10 minutes, 5 times a day? You keep quiet, you switch off your phone and you just calm down and you just, let me relax my whole body. And whether you're praying to an external God or you're praying to yourself, but it's plugging in. And can you imagine doing that 5 times a day?
Even think about whatever achievements or goals that's owafunai. And you want to do affirmations, or you want to align your thinking to.
What's an affirmation?
Affirmation is just to explain it as if I'm explaining to ingane we are a praiser. So let's say I am good looking, I'm smart, I'm strong. So basically,
you are confirming the positive things about you or that you want.
Or that you want. Yeah. So imagine if you had, let's say, 3 affirmations or 3 goals. I want to drink more water. If you are saying that 5 times a day, chances are you're going to become more successful because it's primed in your mind. So inkinga ukuthi thina sifuna ukwenza izinto when you need it. Funa ukuthandaza makhona ipost oyifunayo noma you in shit. Khane kuzothandaza instead of priming and making sure ukuthi my thoughts are aligned with what I need to do. And the breathing thing for me has assisted me.
Sure. Shout out to the Muslims, man. And I hope more of us will do it. I know as Africans, we had African spirituality. We didn't have traffic. We didn't have toxic spaces. We'd always be in nature, walking barefoot, getting sunlight. So please just plug into some of those habits. I think they're dope. And if not, if you're formal, try something like yoga. And it's also a challenge, I think now, ladies, a lot of the ladies that want to play touch rugby, if you want to learn touch rugby, please hit us up, join our groups. You may not be able to play with us realistically because we're very serious, we're very strict, and we're very verbally abusive. I have to say it just as it is. But you can learn, and maybe when we play on certain days, the ladies and some of the guys who are not really confident or who are unfit, they can join and you can have your own. Because touch rugby is not it shouldn't be a masculine sport. It should be for everyone. We're not tackling each other. It's just we am team to moon and we're running around, we're throwing a ball around. So we've played with ladies in the past who have shown guys serious flames. So it's just a challenge, not just to Amachita, but to ladies as well. I'd love to have more ladies, especially competent ladies, coming through to join us and play.
To play with us or to play next?
Depending on their level of how good they are. Because even Namachita, Namachita that are not good enough to play with us.
Shit, yeah. So no, he's on, guys. He's on. Hit us up. Serious touch. What it do, guys? So that's been my week. How's your week?
My week's been good. I was in Durban last week.
When's that?
I was in Durban. I went to go and see 2 of my kids, Ushaga no Culture.
Shout out.
I love my kids. Of course, I need to give a shout out to Nkunzi no Africa in China. I need to give a shout out to Uzulu in Newcastle. And then little dope boy,
Scopo. Oh.
Unyanga. Shout out to my kids. But specifically Ushaga no Culture. I went to go and visit them. I had a few meetings. And maybe I had a few meetings. I'll mention 2. The one being I met up with some of the people that are followers of my content, people that are Penuelists, that follow my religious beliefs or my value system. That was pretty dope. And I guess I need to give a shout out to Uliso in Durban, who's arguably, I guess, my number 1 disciple in Durban. I've got others in Pretoria. I've got some in Joburg. I've got some in Cape Town. So Uliso is the guy in Durban who's kind of leading the troops of Penuelists in Durban. Shout out to you. Met up with some of the Penuelists. I always check in. How are people doing? How's work? Are you struggling with money? How can we network and build together? I'm very big on people being on the ground. So we've got these groups, Durban, Pretoria, Cape Town, Joburg, where there are people that follow my content, looking for opportunities, looking for work, etc. That's the first one, which was pretty dope, and I appreciate it. Number 2, I met up with a gent who's become a friend and a brother, Tutuzane Zuma, and a guy who I know for a fact is going to become a friend and a brother, Winston Innes. I made a video about them on Penuel the Black Pen. I didn't expand, unpack the depth of our conversations, but I touched on some of the more dope points because Winston was doing most of the talking. Very well accomplished businessman. If you go to limitlessworld.co.za, that's his company, they do petroleum. And they turn over, I think, 200 to 300 million rand a year.
Yes.
Young guy. Don't I say new lands in Durban. Winston Innes with his business partners, they do petroleum. They have other business interests as well. But just an amazing guy, an amazing human being. Dropped so much wisdom in the... I had 2 meetings with him, but specifically in the first one, because one of the things I said to Winston is I struggle with imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome, for people that don't know, is when you're in a space and you feel like you shouldn't be there. And mostly you use it when it's a space where you feel like, nah, impukane uzosijwayela.
Isondela ngakuwena le mpukane kancane kancane.
Izama ukuzoyifeatureisha.
No mhlambe yeza mhlambe umlomo onukayo noma.
Uxophela.
La kuwena.
Mbone kuqayela.
Qala ngakini.
So anyways, imposter syndrome is when you're in a space where you feel like you don't deserve to be. And normally spaces that are arguably richer, etc., than what you're used to. So as an example, Wintwana Sekasi or from the squatters, and you find yourself at a Nelson Mandela Square, you find yourself in a Rose Bank, you find yourself in a big executive meeting, or Wintomazanja Limpopo, and all of a sudden you're a partner of a big law firm, of a big accounting firm, you're an exec. And while you're sitting there, people are saying, oh, I played golf on the weekend. Oh, me and my husband went on a game farm. You're like, hey, mina bengidlela spinach, and so I'm like, you feel funny. And you feel like someone's going to point you out. Hey, ufunanda.
And you're like, million.
Sorry, no, I'm in the wrong place. So I told Winston and I told Tutuzan that I've been struggling with imposter syndrome because in certain spaces I feel like, I know Winston was telling me, bro, first and foremost, don't ever feel like that, because for the fact that, number one, you're chilling with us, it means you've earned it. It means there's something that you're doing that we value. And if there's other people that invite you into spaces, there's something about you or that you've done that they value. So therefore, you deserve to be in that space.
Got you.
Number 2, Winston was like, the other thing is, if you can't adjust to spaces, you are weak. And he referenced Charles Darwin, because Charles Darwin says, it is not the smartest.
It's not the strongest.
It's not the smartest, the strongest, or
the
whatever.
The fastest, the biggest that survives.
But it is the species that is most adaptable, that can adapt the easiest, that survives in the long run. That's why in my head, there's the hyenas in The Lion King are badly painted. Abantu abamnyama basabi inyoka, basabi ikhova, all these things. When you actually study these animals, you realize these animals, this is fake news and this is propaganda.
Sure.
These are ordinary animals that you should like. I'm saying this because I'm realizing cockroaches, rats, disgusting. Pigeons.
Spread disease.
These spread disease.
Yeah.
But those animals can adjust in any environment. I'm not saying spread disease, but I'm trying to explain, study these animals so you can figure out why. They have a strong immune system. Some of these animals not only can fly, but they can also climb. They can also sit on ceilings. They can eat almost anything. They can eat food. They can eat wall, they can eat wood, because they're like, whatever it takes, we will survive. And it's been said before that if ever a nuclear bomb hits, it's roaches and rats that will survive those blasts.
Namapar.
Of course, Namapara knows. I'm kidding. But there's these people, and look, I can't mention these guys in the same sentence. It's going to sound bad. But anyways, Winston was saying, learn to adapt. Because that's what will make you strong. Don't be fake, because that's one of the things I hate about imposter syndrome. When I'm in a space, all of a sudden, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Now you're like, they want you to play a certain game, and I don't want to. I'm dope as myself. Why are you not wearing a suit? Because I don't want to. So then you feel like you're out of place. But it's like, look, learn to adjust. If you're in a space, learn the rules of the game. Learn if there's a uniform. If there's something called a jargon is words and a language that are specific to a space. So if you play rugby, words like a scrum, a sidestep, a cutout pass, that's the jargon. If you're a doctor, some of the technical terms about the esophagus and the spleen and the surgery. If you're an accountant, you'll speak about assurance, you'll speak about
ROI.
ROI. ROE, ROI.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. But anyways, there's jargon.
So the accounting wayifunda azange uyifunda yonke.
Ngayifunda yonke phezulu nje ngifaka stress.
Accounting.
No man, I was supposed to be a CA. But anyways, again, shout out to Winston Innes, shout out to Tutuzane Zuma. The last thing I want to say about their trip before you speak.
Sure.
No, please speak first, but remind me to tell you why Duduzane is running for president of the country.
So it's less about Duduzane per se or Luputi Lumunyu Winston. But it lends itself to the conversation that we were having earlier, and I'd like for us to have it here around AKA and that memorial service. Né?
Okay.
And then I'm trying to link it with imposter syndrome.
Okay.
I've realized.
Rest in peace, Kenan. Rest in peace, Tibelo. Again, sorry.
Yeah, R.I.P.
And everyone else, sorry, who's had someone in their lives murdered or who's died from something else. Because I know sometimes we shout out the celebs a lot. But even you guys in Makaya, Siyazu Nani Nokala, we've lost an uncle, by the way, who's passed away. I don't need to mention him per se, but may he rest in peace as well.
Yeah, Siyakala Nati guys. So,
sure.
It's Kalis.
Sorry, the memorial service.
Yeah, so I want to go back to imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I think at times we're unfair. When we will say things like, oh, you shouldn't have imposter syndrome, you're here for
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to align it to us and I'm going to go back to...
So zesilo la. Mina ngishayo baba. Angishayo angishaya impama. I'm kidding.
We producer, protect produce. So
angishayo angishaya impama.
Bars.
Hey, people are hating me on Twitter these days. Sorry. Memorial service. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome.
Rappers.
Top 10 dopest rappers. If you go on my Twitter, boy.
Oh my gosh.
People had him. Penuel.
People had him. They had him. That's the best.
But ngishayi list yamapiano. Basengathi angazi ngikhuluma ngani. Such haters.
Guys, jump on his Twitter if you want a good laugh. So
imposter syndrome.
I was a teacher for a decade. Né? The teacher. And I remember how when I first started formally in the classroom, you'd have all these people say, yes, Penson, how long have you been teaching? Have you been doing this for, as young as you are? I can't believe that you're doing wow. And it felt like, for me, I was so calm in that space.
Yeah.
It was so natural. And if you look back, Tina, we grew up in the school system where your mother being a deputy head of a high school opened up so many doors. So whether we were spending time in the office, talking to different principals of different schools, going to the education department, being known by powerhouses that or Tisha or senior management at that time didn't have access to.
True.
We had access to those people from a very, very, very young age.
Yeah.
Umamsi not forced us, but put us in positions where we had to mark scripts. We had to teach kids.
She forced us, Baba.
She forced us, ne?
Mamsi, you forced us to mark.
We always force her, mama.
Kodwa siyakuthanda phela mamsi.
So I had to teach. I remember one of Umamsi's colleagues who taught English at the time. We were reading Romeo and Juliet in grade 8. And she was like, I'm in a pencil. Grade 8. I'm in grade 8, teaching grade 8.
Yeah.
So those type of things set me up by the time where I first stepped into a classroom on a form. I'd already had 10 years experience. So now you had my age mates, my peers that had that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because they were doing this for the first time.
They felt out of space.
Yeah, but they felt out of space.
Yeah.
So let's go
out of place.
Out of place. So we go back to, AKA, we go back to,
Dr. Sizwe Mpofu Walsh. Okay. Don't forget the doctor. PhD from Oxford, boy.
Oh, yeah. So you look at those gentlemen. You look at Usim Dope that was talking.
Shout out to Simpiwe Kumete. Shout out to Robert Kumete. Was in Bombela.
So again, I was even watching.
Ngalahlala khona uZamamieni eVetrefir. Nasengodini.
Yes, Kanyamaza.
Shout out to everyone in Mpumalanga. Shit.
Oh, Kanyamaza.
Nelspruit. I used to live there. Used to visit there a lot.
Yeah. So I look at those guys, even when Onota was talking, and I was like, these guys all come from cash.
Shit, you're going to make Nota so happy for mentioning his name. Please carry on. They all come from cash.
Nota's a
We're going to edit that out. Please remove Nota's name. Thank you.
Nota's a G. I agree with some of the things. I disagree with some of the things. And
specifically the approach.
Yeah. So we'll just have a conversation. Anyway, so I like how these guys come from cash.
Yeah.
So the same way that we come from education.
Yeah.
So Giti, it came natural. Therefore, we never had that imposter syndrome when we had to speak in educational spaces. Yeah,
They come from Cash and they've been based in Joburg for a long time.
for a long time.
Some of us is too swahili.
So let's say some of the places, I saw some of the pictures that you took of some of the meeting spots that you guys were in.
Yeah.
You know, if you were raised in those spaces, you go there. I gym with my boys. Ne? So my boys at age 3, 5, 7, base gyming. Bayajima shama push up, baboya ama treadmill, bangena kuma change room, kuma sauna, kuma ini babona machitangu. Those things for them, they growing up with it.
Yeah. Happy belated birthday to Undima.
Oh,
my brother's third and last born with the fat cheeks. Abab Rider was a section 4.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Ndima boy.
So again, to a person who's never been into a Virgin Active or or Planet Fitness or a formalized big name gym, the moment you get there, you will feel out of place.
Yeah.
Ngenzani?
Am I wearing the right thing?
Am I wearing the right thing?
Do I look good?
Whereas Ozita, if they walk in after, it's normal.
Do you remember when you guys were... So I went to varsity before yourself and Uzaman. And I remember specifically Uzaman, but even you guys were scared.
Yeah.
Will we fit in university? Is it not just smart people there? What if... And I was like, if you were to see some of the losers at varsity...
Growing up in Newcastle, like, what varsity were we exposed to?
None.
Yeah, but
Kwakhona nje Machuba College, Matateni College, but no university, especially a prestigious one.
So now if you grew up in a city where you'd go out and you go visit people that go to varsity, that you go drink with them.
Unkunzi, after he was born, somebody I say Eugene,
so by the time you get into university, you know exactly. So that imposter syndrome, I
hear you.
Yeah, but so I think a lot of the times we also need to take a step back and say, when no, don't relax. This is new to me.
Yeah.
You grew up in this space.
Yeah.
When imali gini kade
Sure.
thina sikhani siqala ukidla asi understand thina masifika endaweni siqala isipause yabona sibe novalo because it's new to us, you know. So I always listen to these guys and I go, you know, you just did a beautiful shout out to Ntlanta Lux. He also comes from a strong family, so he was also put in positions from a young age.
Sure.
Now that he has blown up and he's this amazing guy, it's natural.
It also speaks to us, by the way. So as you said, our mom has been a school teacher our whole lives. She was a deputy principal at some point. She's adjusted. She now teaches in Joburg at a white private school. So that was big. And she's taught at a couple of them already. She's been a leader and a community leader. Our father was a soccer club owner, coach, runner, that breed greyhounds. So Nati, I think sometimes people don't understand.
Are you not going to talk about the selling of guns? Dark side.
There's no such thing, and I will not comment on things that are unfounded and have no evidence.
Propaganda, fake news.
So sometimes people look at us, me and you in particular, and they wonder, where does your confidence come from? Sure. Because the assumption is you probably come from money, cheese. Oh, who are your parents? Oh, which school did you go to? And you're like, no, this is just me.
Yeah.
You know, and we appreciate the genes and the genetics. But you're very right. And Tutuzane maybe, arguably, and I'll say arguably because I kind of know his life and his upbringing. Yes, his dad was president of the country, etc. But I think for him, it's more genetic than who his father was. Yeah. Because he's also been trying to figure out who his dad is with the rest of us. Winston less so, because Winston will say, yo, my parents were poor. They were just doing this and that. And he's built himself. So, but you're 100% correct. And I think the lesson in that is as early as possible, put yourself in spaces that are out of your depth, where you don't feel like you should belong, maybe. Visit car dealerships. Walk into the Ferrari dealership. Walk into the Porsche. Ask the salesman if they can open the door and let you sit inside. Walk into that expensive restaurant. Even if you just ujwayele, so that over time, you gain the comfort.
I've seen people when they walk in, or they walk Diamond Walk in Sanson City.
Yeah.
I've seen them want to get into Louis Vuitton.
Bayibamba.
But ngena ngizowenza.
Ngizoshiblika la kuthiwa ngikhipha ikhadi ngiswaye put 20,000.
Yeah, so and it's so right what you're saying. Go into Louis Vuitton.
Go in there.
And I promise you, the fifth time, today marks the 982nd day in media for me.
Is that a celebration?
No, 1,000 days will be a celebration.
Spin a foot.
We're doing that thing that Gift was doing with the little straw.
Sucking a little cheesy. I spin a foot now for gift.
Gift. Producer.
No, bro. Almost at 1,000 days in media. Congrats. Well, we'll celebrate it at 1,000.
We'll celebrate the 1,000. But the reality is,
when you started, you were a fucking tit.
I still feel like a tit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so now I'm gonna compare how many days have we played touch rugby?
Yo. 10,000 hours, boy.
Yeah, but so there's no fear. We've played touch with hundreds of different
everyone, everywhere.
Fast guys, slow guys, fat guys, skinny guys, white guys, black guys. We've played rugby 3v3, 10v. We've done everything. So Tina, you
played
put us
in the rain. Played in the snow.
If there was an international touch tournament where the All Blacks put in, we'll slot in.
Sure.
And we won't feel out of place because we played it so much.
Sure.
In media, I still get into spaces and I still feel out of place.
Yeah.
And I've told myself, no, I know it'll last until my day number 5,000.
Sure.
And again, there's also stages in it. Because with every success I have, I go up a level.
Sure.
And then I start with 0 at that level.
Sure.
And then 0. So it is that. However, I look at the sons and the daughters of people who are big and how they always have their kids in these spaces.
Sure.
And their kids hear these terms and their kids hear this and that. And I was working with a younger gent who became an intern. And how, with a certain community, the way that their kids just slot in.
Sure.
And it just flows.
It
just flows. And then you start seeing these kids within 3 years. You guys are both interns. But within 3 years, this guy's your line manager. And you don't understand how. Because he understands who to talk to, how to move. When you play touch, you instantly can see, just by a guy's movement, who can run lines.
Sure.
You instantly see the guy who's got a step on him. He doesn't have to do much. So you can, that guy's in my team. That guy's in my team. Quickly. You guys just come in my team. And those guys who grow up in that space, then they'll come to me when we're 25. They say, don't worry, man. You deserve to be here. We both applied for this job. We're here.
Sure.
Bro, you've got fucking 10 years experience, dog.
It's too dope.
Dog, you've got access to. Dog, how much is in your black card? Minang pising patanisa no 75 rand that needs to last me for the next 3 weeks.
Sure.
So those things, I just feel we must always just be cognizant when we talk about imposter syndrome and we talk about being nervous in a space. Yeah. That's my
Thanks, bro. And Tutuzane and Winston emphasized this. Again, Winston, I love you so much, bro. Thank you so much. Both of them, when we spoke about this, they were like, bro. Tutuzane was like, bro, fuck, we all feel the same at certain times. You feel like, what the fuck am I doing here? So Winston rolls with the security detail.
Oof.
And at some point, I was getting a lift and I'm wearing my black, looking like a student. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll walk. He's like, no, we'll drop you off. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, yeah. Inside, I'm like, yo, I'm like, look, this is hectic. Winston's like, get used to it, bro. This is the life that we need to live. Get used to it.
Yeah, it's not the life I need to live.
So he's exposing me to what you're saying, to get comfortable in this life. And shout out to the gents, because like I said, we had 2 meetings in 2 separate places. And in those places, I'd like to say they're exclusive places. And even in those spaces, they were like, look, get used to these spaces. And now I'd like to think in future, I'll be able to host people in those spaces that other people don't know exist, which I think is pretty dope.
Why ungahambanga now?
Ubani?
Why inviting an extendwang to family and friends?
Mina mfethu mangihamba nantu aba serious. So khona abangani bami that I choose.
Yeah.
I chose my friends.
Yeah.
Ngizoba khona umndeni.
Yeah.
That's shoved down your throat. Manje mawusumdala mele ukhethe. Hamba nobhuti wakho. I don't need to go with this guy.
Or people that I have chosen to be.
I've chosen these mates. Winston and Tutuzane I chose. Those are my mates. Why didn't you go with your
You don't toxic. One day, maybe when I like you,
And I think you're worth something.
I'll keep working on it.
So one of the meetings I had, I don't know if I should mention this lady's name. I'll mention this because I'm thinking she's going to watch this episode. One of the ladies I had a meeting with was Mam Kiza. Mam Kiza, thank you so much, by the way, for our meeting. I'm only mentioning her because we spoke about, there's an episode that came out on the Penuel show with a lady called Usbahle Stole from Newcastle. Sbahle, stunning, beautiful lady. I don't even need to say it because everyone in the comments was like, yes, sis. I'd like to believe an accomplished businesswoman now. She's won an award. I don't know if it's somewhere in Africa. I don't know if it's Tanzania or something. Usbahle, yeah.
Congrats.
So Usbahle comes from a polygamous family. Her father, I believe, had 4 wives. And on that Penel Show episode, she speaks about the dynamics of polygamy. And she also speaks about how much she loved her father, Ujobe. And I've known her for years, and she's always spoke highly about her father. Umam Kiza that I met also comes from a polygamous father who's a businessman somewhere in the Midlands. Midlands, I think, in KZN. He's passed on. May he rest in peace, Kiza. But the way she also speaks of her father. And one of the conversations I had with her was, one of the reasons I had Usbahle on is because, number one, we don't have enough women, especially on social media platforms, that tell their stories about their amazing fathers or stepfathers, especially in this time where so many women are bashing men and whatever. So it's refreshing when you hear a woman, I love my dad. Thank you, dad. A lot of people big up their moms. We're always bigging up, thanks my mom for everything. But to be like, Mbongu Babu Wami for everything he's done. Number one. And number two, the fact that he was a polygamist. Because girls would be like, oh, polygamy, ew, what kind of a man it means. And these girls, accomplished women, both of them, doing really well, beautiful. That's beautiful the other thing. Yeah. So they can almost have any man, they have their own money, and yet can be like, my dad. Love my mom, but my dad was also amazing. Hey, nkhuluma ngosisi baba cream. Nkhuluma cream. Jeez, so thank you so much.
DM nje guys nje.
DM
yeah, business.
Oh,
from a business point.
So I posted a video on YouTube. It's a couple of weeks now. And since then I've been struggling. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been struggling, but I made a video saying, I think I'm embracing that I'm a polygamist. That's not to say I've got multiple women. It's to say when I look at, from when I started dating to now, I have struggled to have more than one woman. And it's not a matter of I have a main and a side or it's I've constantly had 2-3 women that I love and that I deem my partners. So in that video I was saying, even if I am single, even if I only have one woman, please know that Upmina is polygamy. Ngifuna ukuba nesithembu, ngifuna ukuba with more than one woman.
I think for me,
so I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. Like I think the pain that comes in around that is ukhuluma ngokutshontsha. And I think that's what's painful to you, because it feels like we kambela manga first and foremost. You know, it feels like we shall Pink Panther. Ebusuku uyanyonyoba.
Ding 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 ding. Ding 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 ding.
By the way, so I've spoken to OCs around certain things, and what I've heard generally is OCs are saying the problem we have with men is the lying. You know, tell me who you are, how you move, and let me make the choice.
An informed decision.
An informed decision around who you are.
Yeah.
Yes, it becomes tough because who we were when we were 22 is not who we are.
100%.
Yeah, because we change. 100%. You know? And in our younger years, we tend to be guided by what society is telling us to live. Yeah, and as you've gotten older, you're like, nah, fuck, this is not me. Yeah, and then it becomes painful to those.
Whereas Kabang 25, usuna 35, usufisa kuba nesithembu. And this woman's like, this is not what I signed up to.
Because now what's happening is that it creates this dissonance.
Moment. Keep going.
Sorry.
Please. Creates this dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance. So it's essentially what Drake says, when I am who I thought I am. Line, something along those lines.
Okay.
So in our mind, we see ourselves X to the world, but in reality, in our mind, the world sees us in one way,
Okay.
and we see ourselves in another way.
Okay.
You know, where you want to be is the way you see yourself is how the world sees you.
It must be aligned.
It must be aligned.
Okay.
Yeah, one. So this
That's part of what causes imposter syndrome.
Yes.
The world sees you in a certain way when you're born as
see it in
something
a
else.
certain way. So it happened a lot with Amaponu post 94.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of cognitive dissonance in the sense of the way that they saw black people versus what black people were.
Okay.
Now at work, you've got a black line manager that you have to report to.
And when I was is just
your brain is
your maid is black, your gardener is black. Now you have to report to a black person.
But black people aren't this. Black people are servants
100%.
in your mind versus the reality.
It's like a white gardener and a white maid. If they came to knock, I'm looking for work, you'd be like,
it would create a cognitive dissonance.
Sure.
It would misalign. You know, I was going somewhere.
You were speaking about polygamy.
So,
and you were speaking about where you were when you were young and then you get older.
Now you get to age 35, you're married. No? Happily so. But now there's something within you. And a lot of guys, single guys, guys in relationship, a lot of guys have what I'm talking about.
It's called ukhala. And greed.
Because then that
and lack of discipline.
Basho njalo.
Ngiyakutshela ukuthi what it is lela phakathi. Ukhalela izinto that are not yours.
Disgusting. It's toxic masculinity. So, kuba khona leyo nto ukuthi no, wazi ngicela explore something else. And because for lack of a better term, usuyibophele in this. The only way that you can have this is by uchontsha.
Sure.
And then guys lie to themselves.
And to people involved.
And to everyone involved. So they'll go and they'll meet this lady and they'll say they're single. Or they'll say, no, kono but don't say. You know, mom's the word. Hush. So, kuba khona lezo impahla lezo. And then that there is what kills society, I believe. You know, verse ukuhlala endlini and say, look, I've been chowing meat for the past 35 years and I'm decided ukuthi I want to try out being a vegan. You know, I've decided that's what I want to try. I'm not saying I know exactly what it entails, but I'm finding myself drawn to that. And then understand that for every decision that you make and everything you say, there will be consequences. And I think that's where us men at times become cowards because we're running away from the accountability and the consequences that will come with us.
Consequences.
Yeah, with us being honest.
You know, a lot of women don't know why men lie. They think they know, but they don't know. Women say men lie because men are selfish, because men are cowards, and all these other things. And I have to explain that for most men, when they lie in your relationship, especially around cheating, men are lying because, number one, they actually love you. They don't want to hurt you. And they don't want to lose you.
They don't want to lose you, yeah.
So in the example that you use, the married man who is cheating, has a mistress, whatever. So the reason that men lie in the example that you are using is because bayamthanda lo sisi, and they know that if I tell you the truth about who and what I am or I am becoming, I am going to lose you. That's the consequences. And it would be nice to be accountable, to tell the truth, to let the woman decide. But realistically, I don't want to lose you. And I probably also don't quite know what I am or what I'm becoming.
Yes.
Namingsa explorer. So men end up lying. And a lot of women don't understand that women, not force, put men in positions because almost every day, I'll use an example that people understand. Almost every day in your work environment, your boss, the systems, everyone is pushing you to speak a certain language, look a certain way. Why are you wearing that hairstyle? Why are you dressed like that? And you're like, I want to be myself. I want to be a soul sister. I want to have a big afro. I want to come dressed in a whatever. I want to speak isiZulu at work, but it's like everyone at work makes me feel. So you end up being like, let me be part of this con. And at some point you start pushing back. Like you'll come with dreads and your boss will come in like, is everything okay? You know, we've got a code of conduct. You're like, oh, sorry, I was just trying something else. So same thing happens in a man's mind where it's like, I don't want to lose this job because I value it.
So I have to perform.
You're asking me to come to work and you're like, be yourself. You're like, if I am myself, I'll lose my job, and I value it.
Yeah.
I value you. It's not because men take you for granted. Men don't lie to you because they think you're stupid. That's not why we lie. We actually lie because siantans and siansaba. But more importantly, we don't really know who and what we are.
Here's the thing now. And again, this speaks to your Carl Rogers. This speaks to your Maslow's hierarchy of...
Who's Carl Rogers? Philosopher?
Carl Rogers is a psychologist.
Okay.
You know, so these guys are talking about the end game is self-actualization. One of the things that I used to struggle, I remember when I was still teaching at Saints, that we'd go into the staff room, né? And the teachers would be like, hey, did you listen to Wackhead Simpson this morning? And they'd all start laughing, Wackhead Simpson. And
that's a DJ on 5FM.
I have no idea.
I think so. I think Wackhead Simpson is a radio DJ on 5FM.
So lapho mina kade ngilalela like ekseni mhlambe who was I listening to? Sel Beyonce ukhozi. Yabona. So my brain, it's almost like when I drive into this campus, because ngilalela uSel because FM I now
because FM pick fine.
So now I need to switch and play character.
Yeah.
Yabona. Bona
they just
carried on who they were. You understand what I'm trying to say? They carried on exactly who they were. I had to switch and become something. I had to become this person that fits into their mold. Because they still talking about Wackhead Simpsons. They enjoy having cheese and what. I have to teach myself to enjoy that.
Where you try cheese and wine? I've always never understood. I'm at an art gallery, Konama cracker, feta cheese.
Olive,
I'm like, where are the winglets and the drumettes?
Yes.
Where are the samosas and the meatballs? Why am I eating cheese or blue?
So you look at all those things, and I look at as a machita, yes, we love horses, yes, we love, but there has to come to a point where it's self-actualized. You have to embrace all of you. Carl Rogers is speaking about in the shadow, which within you there's everything from the angel to the demon. And the self-actualization is when you realize which within you there's the Mother Teresa, and within you there's a Hitler. And once you understand and embrace the Mother Teresa and Hitler within you, then Sigwa Pambili.
How do you do that when everyone in society is part of the con and is fighting who you're meant to be?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. That's the challenge.
For the individual?
That's the challenge. I need a core blueprint for life. There's no manual. But that's the challenge of getting to that point within you, your self-actualization. This is who I am. Because first and foremost, you need to realize who you are. Because there's many guys, are gay, that are still lying to themselves. And are refusing to come out their own mental closet before they even go in.
Maybe Sam Smith is a good example. Sam Smith came out, best-selling artist, international superstar. And I don't know. I'm just assuming. Sam Smith was still trying to be conservative when he actually wanted to be flamboyant.
Extravagant.
And it took him being super successful, super rich to be like, I will now be myself. Openly.
I have a friend who is very high up at a very prestigious school.
Yeah.
And I say to him, Doc, you need to come out.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. But I was like, no, I can say, Guti, Yabona, this is who you are. You know, no, I just don't want to be labeled and put in a box. Doc, you must understand, Guti, once you've embraced who you are, and then you are okay with it, then you come out to the world.
So the reality is maybe he hasn't. He's scared of the consequences.
So because he's very, very religious,
sure,
he also has to fight that side.
Yeah.
You understand? And because he's in such a prominent school, he has to fight certain things. And I was like, you do understand, Guti, there's many young guys who look up to you,
sure,
who are in a similar space.
It may not even be a sexuality thing. It could be is seen too. It could be I like eating this. So
Tina,
in you being yourself, you liberate me.
Which I can also be myself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Which the consequences of her leaving is huge. Ne?
Yeah.
But we don't know what positives may come of that. We don't know the fact, yes, your kids might hate you and whatever, but we don't know it might get to a time where they can look back and say, fuck, Itaima actually lived his truth.
Yeah.
And he said, Mama, I love you.
Yeah.
I really do. I love this family. I wish we could stay together. Here's my... damn, I left these truths. And all of a sudden, your child doesn't have to wait until they're even at 35 to realize that. When they do it at age 20 and say, no, this is my truth.
I'm struggling with that, by the way.
Yeah,
this is a personal thing for me. I'm struggling with what you're saying. As much as I tell people I'm God, as much as I wear black, I'm a minimalist, as much as I can criticize politicians, as much as I can travel and meet important and influential people, as much as I swear, say whatever the fuck I want, I am, if there's a scale of caged to fully liberal, I'm on the liberal side where I might be 75%. But there's a 25 where I still am resistant. I don't swear as much as I'd like. I don't say some of the supposedly controversial things I'd like to say. Part of it is because my platforms don't allow us to. Because you know your video is going to get taken down or whatever. But in this topic, I said I'm a polygamist. So everyone's like, oh, you know yourself, you're free, you want to. And I'm like, ever since I said that, you would assume that I can now go around and be like, oh, sis. And they're like, oh, we now know. I'm like, even within my own life, I'm still not fully settled. I'm still struggling because there are truths about me and my life I have still not unpacked to stakeholders in my life.
And forget that. There's truths that you haven't unpacked within you.
That I'm comfortable with.
Within you, because you don't have to tell everyone. No one is entitled to every part of your life. But for me, the dissonance that I'm talking of, or at least the anxiety that this is coming from, or this is within you. When we pick our way now. For example, you like getting your nails done, but you're fighting that. Like within you. They don't need to see anything. Maybe you like eating amasa no sugar. Yeah, one.
Which is a huge no-no.
Which is delicious.
In the real world, it's better to be gay than ukudla amasa no sugar.
Let me tell you something. Real gangsters.
So phihliza ngesagila.
If you're a G, fuck sugar. Oh, fuck sugar.
Uchi is part of LGBTQ.
It's fine.
Abantu abadla ushukela ngamasi.
It's okay.
Bala we LG.
Yeah, so LG nathi.
Noma nuku S. LGBTS shukela.
For sugar. Emasini.
Kids at home, virtual squatters, this is a plea from me. Please don't put sugar in your mouth.
Put sugar in amas.
Don't listen to weird people giving you bad advice.
Anyway, but toxic. It's first embrace you. The problem is now.
But you understand how hard that is. This is the thing that causes mental breakdowns, even for rich celebrities, that they're like, I am not being myself.
I see guys, when you're visiting someone and you see them, yeah. You don't always have to go and present or tell people what's in your mind.
Yeah.
You don't have to. No, people don't owe. You don't owe people nothing.
Sure.
Yeah, the thing is that you owe yourself the truth. Yeah, today. So if you know that you don't like this or you like that or you don't feel this, then you need to be honest to yourself. And then know, okay, sharp, I don't like peanut butter. I know I don't like peanut butter, but for the sake of peace, I'll bite into it.
But the example you used was you wanting someone to tell the world. Why is it not enough that they know themselves?
No. So here's the thing. With a friend of mine, he's fighting himself, first and foremost. I'm telling him the positives of telling the world.
It's dangerous, though.
It's very dangerous. But there's consequences.
You realize we're in a funny space where, this is my opinion. I wanted to ask a question earlier, but I didn't get to it, and it's fine. About whether you think men have to fight the concept of being with one woman. So you might find that I'm a bit more liberated, but every other gent is like, I don't want to be with one woman. So they're battling themselves. But we're living in a space where I don't know how far deep we are in westernization, but you find to this day it's where Amachita are struggling in this concept of I have to wake up in the morning, take my kids to school, drive to work, go present. And even when you become super successful, and this is my fear around depression and suicide, where there are people who are inside their heads, and how I've painted the picture to some people is inside your head is like a board of directors, what we call ancestors. And they constantly battling each other. Never mind. So if your mom and your dad made you, already your father's like, Mshaya, I'm fine. And your mom in your head is like, hi, balega. And your father, hey, ungabi kwana. And your mom's like, hey, uzofa. That's your mom and your dad. Now add your grandparents, your great-grandparents, the masculine and the feminine, constantly battling. Now in their battling, they get to a place of consensus. As a black African man, ibanesthembu, hamba uthola umhlaba, utshale, ufuye. They in agreement. This is what a black African man should be. Then after they've agreed, you now in the real world, it's like, go to school, study. Do this maths even though you're failing. No, speak English. And your ancestors are like, you're speaking a language that's not yours. You're eating a diet that they're not used to. You're traveling to countries they don't know. You're now forcing, because of, no, you have to get married, you must be with one woman. You're forcing them and you. And I think at some point, there's that battle. And no matter how rich and famous,
you implode.
And at some point you crash. And that's where depression and potential suicide comes.
I was about to say, we're not looking at the causes of a high male suicide rate. We're not. We're just saying, what's waphlung? You know,
guys, take care of your mental health. What does that mean?
Talk to us, guys.
Be vulnerable.
And like we're not talking about this because amajita are imploding.
Sure.
Yeah, because you are trying to live a life that's not you. Usiqambela amanga wena.
And you know the feminine dynamic from a black African perspective, they are groomed and they used to be groomed to change.
Yeah.
You will leave your home.
Yeah.
You will change your surname.
Yeah.
You will marry into another family.
Sure.
As a black African man, there was never training for that. So now it's like change, agree, accept. And you're like, no, I ain't going to know.
You know.
And that becomes a battle. Now, not only is the world telling you, but your woman who's meant to acclimatize to you
yes.
is telling you to
100%.
acclimatize to her in society.
Now we're being penguins in the sense of
be a present dad, change nappies. Why are you not doing this? Cry. And you're no.
I said this to a good friend of mine as well. We can't be penguins. So penguins are monogamous and the man looks after the egg and all that crap. And so it takes from you. I've sat with so many men, and when they do these feminine roles, I look at the traditionally feminine roles.
Yeah.
I see the death in their eyes. If you're new to fatherhood, it's cute. Ne?
Yeah.
And you get a lot of likes on Instagram. Ask me, I've done all of it. But it
changing nappies, kissing your baby. Oh, so cute. I love dads like you.
Things that are outside of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. So within all of us men, we've got a lot of things that we do that is very feminine as well.
Sure.
Yeah, but I love taking a bath.
And you like doing your nails?
And I like doing my nails.
Yeah.
And I like taking a bath with my boys and I like kissing my boys. That's fine.
And you do yoga, we found out?
With
and namas. So please keep it going.
So again, I've embraced that. It's mine. It doesn't create. There's guys that wish they could do that.
Yeah.
But by a fisa, they take baths in the dark. Yeah, but you know. So
it's nama bubbles.
Bubbles.
Like some country.
And then they feel guilty.
Yeah.
It's like porn. Mchita watches porn, yanks, and then is guilted. Now they're going around feeling small, bro. Like
stop watching porn. By the way, from me.
Yeah.
Porn is very bad and it distorts what sex and intimacy is meant to be.
100%. So
or cut down at least. Let the guy breathe just a little bit.
But
stop choking the monkey till it vomits.
But manje sizoshaye pressure. Penuel ngeke porn. So now he's going to be guilty at the fact that he's watching porn. And then second, he's going to be guilty at the fact that he told the machita, porn.
Guys, just cut down, man. I'm telling you, it messes you up psychologically. Guys, just cut down.
For me.
And if you are going to watch porn, I think this is more important than the cutting down. If you are going to watch porn, please try and watch the type of porn that is more aligned to the type of intimacy you want to have. Some of this disgusting slapping her face with and coming in her ear and some of those things, at some point psychologically, you're going to want to act it out. And some of the men out there, because you can't do it to the woman you claim to love, the mother of your kids, that's part of the reason why you go out or you buy. Because somewhere in your head, you've been planting the seed of, this is my fantasy.
Yeah.
If you kill some of those weird fantasies, you don't have to live them out. So if you are going to watch porn, cut down, but also try and find like marriage porn where I love you and not these weird
So man, I don't want to contradict what I'm trying to say because I want people to also just
be themselves.
Be honest to themselves.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation with Umchex today. Shout out Karabuntik. Around Uguti, he was talking around motivation and we use different things to motivate us.
Yeah.
Some guys are motivated because he wants to build his mama house.
Yeah.
Some guys are motivated because he just wants to get bad bitches. Yeah,
Sure.
but to yourself, Khohla what you say, because you can go in front of a platform and say, I just want to build a nation. But to yourself, acknowledge ukuthi I want to become successful so I can get bad bitches.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying to talk about. That's what you
Own
need to
who you
embrace.
are.
Own who you
Which
are.
is tough because most people don't know who they are because people have never been given a space and a license to explore themselves.
100%. Nasendlini, amachita, I mean, I can tell you so many guys, hey bro, we're watching the game at uhleli endlini no mem babuka Grey's Anatomy.
Sure.
He's sitting there
Meredith.
and he is dying inside because he
Yeah.
wants to go catch a beer with the boys and watch the game. But now he's put on this role like at work, which now I need to, what did Wicked Simpson say? Now I want to be part of that. I want to get accepted by that community. So now I'm saying like Wicked Simpson.
Trying to assimilate.
Into that space. Kanti, I'm not realizing what I'm killing something within me. The fact that you really want to be with your boys and have a drink, but now she's happy. Now you're assimilating to here. So you're gonna chop, you're gonna change nappies. You are aligning to in what's it called? Patriarch opposite
Matriarchy.
That's what you're aligning to. So when she's your boss now, like her, the same way you've got a boss at Spans,
Sure.
and you align to Wicked Simpson there, and now you're aligning to Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And guys, I've watched all of it. Grey's Anatomy, I've watched Scrubs. Yes, Scrubs.
Scrubs. Orange is the New Black.
I've watched Orange is the
Obviously,
New
the
Black.
Kardashians.
But you watch these things and you realize
I used to read the True Love in the Cosmopolitan. It helped me understand women a lot, by the way.
But I'm trying to say is that you realize, Guti, I want to be out with the boys having a drink.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting here watching Scrubs.
One of the last thing about my trip to Durban, I met an amazing young lady. She's 22, 23. I won't mention her name, but she works with the crew that does Ulungelo KM's Engineer Your Life. Please check out Ulungelo KM's Engineer Your Life channel on YouTube. And this lady was speaking about how she got married young because she's 22, 23 and she's married because she's seen that a lot of women wait to get married later and they become too independent. Where I've got my own house, my own car, make my own money, to a point where they don't have space for a man. And she says she doesn't want to be there. She'd rather build with her man. So I made a video about that, speaking about that. You can touch on it if you want.
It's also touch and go on her, but anyway.
You can say. So one of the things I don't think I touched on in my video, because I want you to speak about a video that you and I both watched by Ulungi Honest. She was Miss Soweto, I think, 2014. Shout out to you, Ulungi.
Shout out to
and thank you for being vulnerable in that video as well. But we'll speak about it. I want to say this to women in particular. To women in particular, but also to men. Somewhere in our teaching and conditioning, we are miseducated. Women in particular are raised to understand that raising a child is hard. From a young age, you know you're going to be up at night. You know you're going to be changing nappies. Your children might struggle at school. Your children might throw tantrums and go through puberty. I hate you, mom. Put do not disturb signs on their doors. They won't like you. You'll fight with them. They'll be broke. And women mentally are prepped. They will never throw away their child. I'll never throw them away. And I believe this is why for a lot of women, it is easier to raise children because you are prepped to commit to this life through good and bad times. I find the opposite happens with relationships, romantic relationships where The Bold and the Beautiful, R&B, some of the movies we watch, and what's happening on social media, women are not trained to understand that your relationship and umshado wako is going to be as hard, if not harder, than raising a child. So as soon as there's slight discomfort, you're disturbing my peace, I don't want this is not what I signed up for. Imagine a mother, your child is now smoking at age 14. Your son has beaten up someone at school. Your son stole the car at home, has crashed the car. And you're just like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want this child anymore. I'm sorry, I want to be a mother. Mothers don't do that. But in romantic relationships, the person you're meant to arguably spend your whole life with, you're so quick to want to exit. And you're so quick to want a perfectly made partner. And I think if we were to re-engineer our approach, and I said to this lady when I spoke to her, shout out to her, very mature, very smart, shout out to her and her husband. But I was saying, I wish from a young age we were taught that umjolo, umshado is hard work and be given like the worst of it. Those are the hard, it's not like, oh, your child's face. And we speak about that, but we also speak about the work. But when it comes to umjolo nomshado, we almost never speak about ubowazi ukuthi usazokufebela. Ubowazi ukuthi nisazolo, mhlawumbe nisazokhwebhana physically. Ubowazi ukuthi khona la ningeni ibe khona nemali. Khona la ubabezokhala. Understand ukuthi these things where they used to say team begezela, now women laugh at it. Ooh, I'm not team You guys are team begezela with your children that you claim to love.
At work.
Your team begezela at work with the job that you claim to be committed to. You team begezela sometimes with your friends who also stab you in the back. But with the person who's meant to be your life partner, little discomfort. He's not buying me flowers anymore. He's changed. Why don't you call me baby? Like, that's why a lot of our relationships are falling apart. I'll stop there. And I don't know if you want to speak on that, but I wanted you to touch on Ulungi Honest's video. And again, shout out to her for being vulnerable on Instagram. If you can go check it out.
Yeah, like it's such a deep thing that you're talking about. I just want to take a couple of steps back.
Yeah.
Especially with the mothering thing. And women will disagree, and please just leave a comment around it's not just the environment, also biologically. You know, if you look at how estrogen works in the body, if I were to inject you with estrogen, you'd become a calmer, more patient person.
Estrogen is the dominant hormone in females.
You know, so from that, just biologically, they are better equipped to parent. When you spoke about that at the formative years.
Parent their little ones.
In the formative years, you know, and it changes as kids change and their needs of parenting change. So
they struggle with like a masculine boy with high testosterone. Then you probably need.
Yeah, because you need something else now. So again, I look at sisters, and you spoke about independent sisters. And I want to say, what is independence? How does that look like in today's time? Independence speaks to, if I were to say, what characteristics, for me to label someone as masculine, what characteristics does that person need to show? You know, and you will say, for a person to be labeled masculine, they will be assertive, aggressive, ambitious. Those strong. Then I say, okay, give me the characteristics of an independent woman. Ambitious, strong, confident, aggressive. It mimics the exact same thing.
Sure.
Now you look at a guy. Does a guy want to be in a relationship with someone that has those characteristics?
Sam Smith does. But outside of Sam Smith, and
so again, in this relationship, because we're building each other. When you are high, I'm low. When I'm high, you are low. You are what I don't have, and I am what you don't have. And that's what makes this coin works, because we bring different things. And what a lot of these women don't understand, these independent, strong women don't understand, is you become masculine in your day-to-day.
Yeah.
I'm a masculine guy. I am not attracted to masculine energy from a relationship point.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that. The most masculine men...
It's because you're intimidated.
It's
okay.
And in this, it's
Spongy boy, don't tint your totolozi boy. Don't tint your totolozi boy. Rest in peace, Pichu.
So it's and in this case, it's figurative. Is that the word? It's a figurative totolos.
Sure.
So
I don't want to be with another man who happens to have a vagina, which is what we normally say about fathers. Don't be a second mom.
Don't be a second mom with the penis.
Yeah.
So again, I know the most feminine females. Yeah. They don't want to be with the feminine man.
Sure.
You know, even in the gay community, from the friends that I have, that I've seen, you have one who tends to be more feminine and their partner tends to be more masculine.
They like complementary energies.
Because it complements.
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom. But I understand that. What's the top and bottom?
You guys know what we're talking about. If I was gay, I'd definitely be a top.
I'd definitely be a top. So, but it becomes that. Osis that become strong and independent, they become masculine.
Yeah.
And then they want a masculine man, and masculine men are saying, no,
Sure.
I want a feminine female.
Yeah.
So now when you come in Losisi, who comes in at 22, at 21, chances are she's at the beginning of a journey of independence.
Yeah.
Where she's talking about, and she possesses more feminine traits than if she were to be single until has been a date. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's easier for her to attract a masculine guy.
Sure.
And I think also it's better to miss that.
As you're actually making me think of something. I want us to shut down this episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to touch on Ulungi Honest. You're making me think, we spoke about men who in their younger years don't really know who and what they are and who also just change. So at 25, you marry the love of your life. At 35, you get urges to be with another woman, but you don't want to lose her. So the polygamy conversation. Now I'm thinking similarly of a woman at 25 who is happy, feminine. At 35 now, she's a senior manager exec. And she's become more masculine, more boss. And now she's also telling you the same way you want me to embrace your polygamy, embrace, then I've also changed. And I know men struggle with that.
Well, look, it's also the law of the land. Yeah, we also need to get to a point. The same way, Guti, as much as things change, you still frowned upon if a female slaps me and I slap her back.
Sure.
That's still frowned upon.
Yeah.
So it's just the unwritten law of the world. Yabona ukuthi umuntu wesifazane siyamprotector, yena mayisishaya siyamhaka type of thing, yabona. So now she must also understand ukuthi there's certain non-negotiables, unfortunately, whether we're talking about the animal kingdom, when we're talking about in the household, So yes, there's a community that's trying to change certain things, but if for most guys that are in my world, at least, Tina, we're not willing to change.
Which is selfish and unfair, right?
You can call it what it is. Some people can say, Penson, change, cut off your penis, and like, no, I don't want to do that.
So the woman,
there's a community that works at. Nah?
There's a community of women that don't want to share their man.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine.
Sure.
Yeah, but and those women must.
That's why men lie as well, by the way.
That's sharp. Now, those men in those spaces who are going through the most, they will implode.
Oh my God.
And for them, they'll be met with depression, anxiety, God forbid, suicide.
Sure.
I mean, I'm part of the group of men who want to embrace exactly who they are and live their truth. Yeah, bon. And if it so happens that you are trans in that space, come. If it so happens that you are gay in that space, come into this community. As long as you can embrace who you are and not be wishy-wishy of umuntu just because ufuna accommodator law. Then you go on and put on a mask every day.
Love is compromise, bro.
Not for me.
In the entertainment space, this is called props.
Yeah.
Props. I'll open one afterwards. Anyways.
Yeah. So let's go back to Losisi.
Let's close it off. So Ulungi Honest, I think ex Miss Soweto 2014, I stand to be corrected, released a video on Instagram where she was being vulnerable and she was crying. I think you can take it from there.
Yeah, man. Usisi was venting. Usisi was saying, look, this is how I feel. These are the challenges that I'm going through. And even if you look at the comments, a lot of love, a lot of support.
Yeah, a lot of love, which is pretty dope. Shout out to everyone who commented there.
Yeah. So
in empathy.
The reality of it is Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever the case may be, has become the town square. Yeah. So I too can go onto the Times Square and I can also vent.
Yeah.
The problem is it's common space. It's a common space. It's not my own, not in my lounge just talking to you. It's a common space. So if I want to go to Epri and stand there and Velenje, my truth. Zulu men are stupid. Zulu, that's my truth. Ne?
Yeah.
Zulu men,
and maybe Zulu men have done you wrong.
Whatever the case
which is
may
your
be.
experience.
I must also be understanding, Uguti, there will be repercussions and consequences for what I'm saying. Even though it is my opinion, I'm venting, I'm going through things. So she was speaking, and again, so she was speaking about her truth and her challenges that I questioned.
What was the video about? Just to let the squatters know.
She was talking about the challenges of parenting.
Okay.
And she was talking about that she has a 5-year-old, if I'm not mistaken, and she is still finding it challenging. And she was saying, Wuti, she doesn't understand why it takes 2 people to have a child, yet she's by herself going through parenting challenges. And my whole thing was, where's the father? In today's times where every single person is shitting on fathers. You know, I'm like, we never get to hear the other side.
Yeah.
You know, God bless us Bahle, no Mamkize, who are saying the positives.
Yeah.
Because they can also say the negatives. And I assure you, there's hundreds of negatives.
There's a lot of negatives.
Yeah, but whereas a lot of sisters, all they do is just shit on men.
Yeah.
As if like, you chose the shit guy. You went out of your way to choose this shit guy, and now are you not accountable that you pick shit? You chose shit. Start off there. Go, fuck, I choose shit. What's wrong with me picking bad guys? There's zero accountability.
Let me fix myself.
No, none of that. It's him that's wrong. So again, my first question is, where's this guy? What's his story? Because Sissy, you might be dead honest. This guy might be trash. Yeah, but there's the other side of the story. And secondly, my other question was, who told you that parenting is going to be easy? Who lied to you? You know, I'm a parent of 3.
Yeah.
I'm seeing flames. And it's in us by 2. And she does 95% of the stuff. And another 5 women
I've seen you. Your 5% is everything on Instagram.
Yeah, no. Post that in your 5%.
Baba on social media.
Yeah.
As soon as I go to shy video,
yeah, but below 5% in Wednesday, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's so tough. And it's tough at every stage of their development. From the initial stage where you just don't die stage, to now this thing, so just don't pull a knife and cut yourself. You know,
just don't let me kill you. Just
but
don't die. Don't let me kill you now.
And they start school and they've got friends and every stage. Now report. Yeah, every stage has its own challenges.
Yeah.
There's never a time where it's easy. You know, I always tell people good parenting is 99% shoveling shit, and then God bless that 1%. You know,
they're smiling and
when they're smiling,
and when they're sleeping.
I think you were saying
when the babies are sleeping, number one.
Yes, when you were saying about 2 teachers, we were talking about 2 teachers, he said you just have to get one thing right.
Yeah.
So it's like you can start 100 businesses, thousands of business ideas. Once you get that one right.
Justin Tonayako needs to become a millionaire. So I'm a good parent.
I'm a good parent. So again, that's the same thing with parenting. So I was listening to Lucy, and yes, she's venting, yes, she's saying the truth. But I was just like, one, it's coming across to me as one, again, another sister playing victim. And 2, wanting it to become easy.
Okay.
And that's just not what it is.
I want to give a shout out, man. I've got 4 baby mamas is what they call. I know some people hate that term.
I don't like that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with the term. I think
don't like it.
African Americans, ratchet African Americans, killed the term. It's meant to be such a beautiful term. Like even your wife, if she's given birth to your children, is meant to be like, this is my baby mama. It's the mom of my babies.
Got you.
But now ratchet African Americans have turned it into if you say baby mama, you speak about someone who's far away. So that's quite sad for me. But anyways, 4 mothers, and I want to give them a shout out as well, because they also do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's probably now maybe 98% of the lifting of the weights. At some point, maybe it was 70%. And it's mostly, parenting is mostly, when they speak about doing things in the air and you're not with the people on the ground. The mothers of my kids are there in the trenches.
In the engine room, yeah.
Mostly by choice. I need to emphasize this as well. I am happy at any moment, Eric Thomas, to sacrifice what you are for what you will become. So I'm happy at any moment to be the primary caregiver of my children. But currently the agreement that we have is that my children live with their mothers, and then mina guest parent.
Oh,
Ngiyavakasha ngifika kumnandi ngiyafeatureisha
ideleza
ngithele nje imali kancane hey wazamfaka uzibaba hey. So but look, it's because of circumstance and not but this is also why I'm trying to wrap my head around.
But it's tough,
my own thing. No I lived with Unkunzi in Africa for 8 and 6 years respectively, and I know every single day.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to, like, I appreciate Usis, and I don't want to come across like Nyamateka, because Nyamhlonipa, and I'm appreciative of Guti. She's actually started
a conversation that
needs to be had.
A necessary conversation.
And my response to it is, 1, let's hear his side.
Yeah.
And 2,
is that his responsibility?
With what?
To tell his side?
No. I was just putting it out there in the world. People must live their truth.
I get attacked, by the way. I've told my story about my son Uzulu, my second-born son, that I have not been able to have since 2018. And I've made 4 videos on YouTube. And a lot of the comments, like yours, come from females saying, but what's the mom side of the story?
No.
And I've said things like, I'd also like to hear it because maybe it will help
100%.
me understand, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to be a father to a little boy.
I'm not shooting anything. I'm just saying,
No, I hear you.
like your situation, like her situation,
Can
I
we
would
hear
like
the
to
other
know
side?
the other side.
So that we can try help.
The other person they don't owe me nothing.
Yeah.
So they don't owe society nothing. They might be doing things on behind closed doors and they're sorting their stuff out. Perfect. I was just saying to people who might be reading, would you always understand there's also the other side of the coin.
Sure.
That's just the reality of it.
Let's shut this thing down, man. It's humble. I wanted to speak about...
And also say, my phone, later,
you're making me think of something. I wanted to speak about load shedding ESCOM. We won't have time for that. I just want to give a shout out to Floyd Shibambu of the Economic Freedom Fighters. I heard his response at the State of the Nation Address debate, and he gave a lot of solutions to our load shedding. If you haven't seen it, please go search Floyd Shibambu SONA debate. Brilliant 16-minute speech, I think it is. I truly resonate with it. I'm not an EFF member supporter. I may have voted for them at the last national elections, but shout out to Floyd Shibambu and relatively young leadership that is still brave.
You're not a supporter, but you may have voted for them.
Yeah, so I'm currently not an EFF supporter.
Okay.
However, at the last national elections, I did vote for them, not because I was a supporter, but because I wanted more young people in parliament. And they were proving, not just saying. The ANC was like, we need youth leadership. No. The AFF was actually bringing young people into Onaledi Chirwa, Ombuyiseni Ndlozi,
Got you.
other young people. So I was like, I am voting for young, passionate leaders to be in parliament. And that's what I voted for. Since then, of course, a whole lot of the movements that they've made, this is a political chat, which we can have another time. I don't support them anymore, and I don't want to vote for them. But I don't support the ANC currently. I don't support the DA currently as well. But I wanted to send a shout out to Floyd Shibambu. Thank you so much for joining us, bro. Please don't forget to support More Fire. And not just More Fire, please support local brands. I know DJ Smooth is very huge on that. Wherever you have a decision to make between buying local and international, if it's a decision and it's a no-brainer, please support local. What you do by buying local is you create jobs, not for people out there, for your own family. Because you need to understand in your head, if you are buying a More Fire, and you're like, I don't like More Fire, sure. But if you're buying a More Fire over an international brand, what you're doing is the people that work in More Fire can take that money that you gave them, because abantu like South Africa, they can then go and buy from other people who are local. And then the day you have a business, the day you have something, they will have money to come and support you. When you buy an international brand, you are sending money overseas. So when you host an event, bafethu ngicela ngizonisupport, asinamali. Hey bafethu ngicela ngithenge ibrand yami, asinamali. Hey bafethu ngicela ngizothenga. Why ningenamali? It's because something as small as buying a More Fire, the ripple effect of keeping money here. And on top of that, once this, because I know Spoo's got an FDA approval to sell in America. Once we can export, once those people buy from us, we bring money in and we can create opportunities here. That's the whole ideology. And it's why I big up the Muslim community, why I big up the Jewish community, why I big up a big part of the white Afrikaner community. They understand the value of buying local. And for them, it's not just South African. They go further and they're like, I buy from people that share maybe my race, people that share my religion, people that share my values. Because I know if I buy from this person, they will in turn support my initiative. So don't forget to support local. It doesn't necessarily have to be More Fire, but anything else. The fact that you guys watch the Virtual Mkuku, the Hustlers Corner, the Penuel Show, my brother's now pushing on YouTube as well, Penuel the Black Pen, that gets to allow us to support local. Just support Amachit at the VEP, Don Studio in Sprayed View. You guys must come to VEP. You guys must hit up Ubanzo. You must hit up Gift, Cats, Cliff. And in that way, we don't have to send jobs and opportunities overseas. But more than anything, Penson, Mtagama, Mabesh. Thank you so much for coming to bro. I don't know if you have anything else that you're looking forward to in the week.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to say thanks so much for this platform, man.
Sure.
Yeah, no, Nami Yakula, man. And for me, this whole discussion on the podcast is a form of therapy.
Yeah.
So thanks for the shout out on my channel. And I also get to vent like we'll see, I get to vent and talk about my ideas. So hit a subscription.
Subscription, click on the
like,
notification bell. Please comment. We love the comments because we read them, we respond. They help us to grow.
Yeah.
As well. Spear Mtagama, need to give us a shout out to my sister, Penrose Lungis from Mlotshwa. We are cool Siswam. She turned 25. So it was her birthday now in Feb. It was Untanzi, your son's birthday in Feb. It was Undima's birthday just now.
Yeah.
Shout out to my sister, man. You're becoming a young... You're becoming a woman in your own right. We give you a hard time as your brothers, but we love you very much. We believe in you. We can't wait till you become our version of Auntie Velile. We've got a dope aunt, Velile. She's married now, I think. I'm going to make a mistake, but I think Waga Zondi now.
Yeah.
Auntie Amu Velile, who's the youngest of my father's siblings.
Yeah.
But she's arguably the strongest.
Yeah.
Of the siblings,
Love her.
Mlotshwa.
Love her.
You know,
Love her.
Auntie Velile Sektanda Kakulu. I can't wait till my sister fully, because she's uveza lezo impawu, for her to fully become the Velile, where when someone touches Penson, even though he's push, and even though I've got a big mouth, she'll be coming fireblazing. Shout out to Mamli. Damn, you know, when you speak about strong, powerful women like Velile, both of them, by the way, Baba Bambe, at my father's memorial service and funeral. We lost our dad in 2020. Auntie Velile was there because Mfundisi, Mamli as well, was in Newcastle, Oshateno Baburita Ngumalo, was also there. Both of them were the pastors on that day. Strong woman. Jeez, we've got strong women in our corners, and that pushes us to want to be even stronger men. So that Auntie Velile might say,
Kono Penrose.
So, yeah, man, thank you very much.
Guru.
Guys, we'll see you guys soon. Mondays, midday, myself and TJ Sbu, along with the Hustlers Corner as well. And then either Thursday, Friday, myself and Penson, the small penis. You must come up with like a nice tag.
What?
But anyways, myself and Penson are going to hit you up. And hopefully in time, we'll get more guests as well to come through.
Weird. It sounds weird when Uti Penson. It's weird, eh?
Tobias.
Yeah, it just sounds weird.
Tobias.
Yeah.
It's
like me calling you Penuel. Penuel. Oh.
Hi, Penuel. How you doing?
Hi, Penuel.
Very well, Penson. How are you?
Hey, welcome. It's good.
Guys, support local, man. And thank you very much for the support. We're out. We love you.
Cheers, guys.